Welcome to Mental Matrix. Today my topic is a true infidelity story by cheating mind. It began softly, not with a kiss or a confession, just a quiet whisper. "Slower," I said, my hands steadying his trembling ones. His breath caught, and he looked at me like a man drowning, like I was the only thing holding him above water. When he moved again, more certain this time, something inside me split open. Guilt, desire, regret, and need tangled into something raw and painfully human. I wasn't confused. I wasn't drunk. I simply didn't want it to end, not after feeling invisible for so long. My name is Claire Benton. I'm 43, living in Eugene, Oregon, in a modest two-story house where the windows, groan when it rains and the porch light, flickers despite new bulbs. I've been married to Jake Benton for 19 years. He's a high school math teacher, solid and reliable in the way that sounds comforting but feels suffocating. We have 2 kids, Ava, 15, glued to her phone, and Liam, 19, off at Oregon State studying mechanical engineering. Jake beams when people ask about Liam. I work part-time at a dental clinic. It's not glamorous or fulfilling, but it covers groceries and keeps me from feeling like a house appliance. Our life runs like clockwork: coffee at 6:45, school drop-off at 7:15, dinner at 6 sharp. Jake grades papers while I fold towels or scroll through social media. I don't care about. We don't argue. We don't flirt. We exist side by side like a pair of faded lawn chairs once vibrant, now dulled to the same washed-out gray. Then Ethan Reyes moved into the garage apartment we'd renovated last summer. At 22, he was a college senior studying landscape architecture. He drove a battered green Subaru that coughed every time it reversed. At first, he was just the tenant, a polite, quiet kid who walked our aging Golden Retriever and strummed his guitar in the evenings. His music drifted through open windows as I stirred pasta or folded laundry. But something shifted. Not in him, in me. It was a Tuesday. I reached for a pie dish on the top shelf and it slipped. Before I could cry out, a hand caught it midair. Ethan stood there saying he'd come in looking for trash bags. I laughed too loud, brushed my hair back, trying to hide the blush creeping up my neck. He smiled shy, proud, and I felt something unfamiliar stir. He started cooking sometimes lemon chicken, sautéed spinach, apologizing for not knowing if we had kosher salt. Jake joked it was like having a live-in handyman. But I noticed the way Ethan's eyes lingered a beat too long when I bent over the laundry basket, the way he remembered my coffee preferences or how I hated ticking clocks. One evening I was trimming dead hydrangeas when he came out barefoot with 2 beers. "You look like you've had a day," he said. We sat on the steps, Daisy thumping her tail lazily. He spoke about his senior thesis, how he wanted to design public gardens that felt like places people could breathe, and I realized I hadn't taken a real breath in years. Then he asked softly, "Do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you hadn't married so young?" I didn't answer. I didn't have to. He already knew. Later that week, our hands brushed, lifting a heavy dish. The contact felt electric. I pulled back too fast, nearly dropping it. "Sorry," I muttered. My hands shook. He looked at me, not like a boy, not like a man, but like someone who truly saw me. "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable," he said. "You didn't," I replied. Half true. It happened on a Saturday. Jake was away at a conference, Ava at a sleepover. The house was quiet, mine alone. I was folding towels when a knock came, Ethan saying he'd left his charger. But we both knew he hadn't. I told him to check the guest room. Minutes later, he stood in the doorway empty-handed. "I didn't come for the charger." The air thickened. I didn't move as he stepped closer. Tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear, whispered my name. The kiss wasn't careful, it was hungry, urgent. Weeks of stolen glances finally unleashed. My back pressed against the dryer, its steady hum sounding like a warning. His hands trembled on my waist. I clutched his shirt like an anchor. "Slower," I whispered, and he listened. But reality always returns. Jake, Ava. Ethan was 22. I was not. "You should go," I said. He didn't protest. Alone in the humid laundry room, I trembled, unsure of the woman I'd just become. The next morning, I burned the toast. Ava didn't notice. Kids never do. But Jake did. He didn't say anything, just watched me, his thumb tapping slow against his coffee mug. Ethan texted, "Hope I didn't mess things up." I didn't reply. Guilt clung to me like humidity. 2 days later, another excuse. Forgot my sunglasses. He hadn't. I met him at the door, handed him sunglasses he'd never left. "Are we going to talk about it?" he asked. There's nothing to talk about, I said. He nodded and walked away. That night, Jake wrapped an arm around me in bed. Familiar but not enough. I closed my eyes, trying to remember the early days with him. But all I saw was Ethan, the way he whispered my name like it was fragile. It unraveled on a Wednesday. No yelling, no slammed doors, just strawberries in the sink. Jake leaned against the counter, tie crooked, eyes soft. Claire, is there something I should know? He asked. I kept rinsing, not panicked, just resigned. I made a mistake, I said. I told him it only happened once. Not the whole truth, just the part I could carry. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. He nodded and left the room. The silence that followed was deafening. Then one day, Ethan showed up with a sketchbook. I think this belongs to you, he said. Inside were drawings of me, not explicit. Just quiet moments, barefoot in the garden. Stirring pasta, my face half lit by porch light. You were the first person who made me feel seen, he said. I pressed the book to my chest. And you made me feel alive again. We didn't touch. We didn't kiss. He brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. Goodbye, Claire. And just like that, he was gone. I think about that summer more than I should. Not because I want it back, but because it taught me how easy it is to vanish inside. A life that seems perfect on the surface. How loudly a body can ache in silence. For years I thought infidelity was about sex, thrill, weakness. But I know now sometimes it's about survival. Ethan didn't break my marriage. I did with every moment I stayed quiet. Every time I buried my needs and called it routine. Do I regret it? Yes and no. I regret the hurt, the cracks it left. But I don't regret remembering I'm still a woman, still capable of wanting, of being wanted. Jake and I are trying, not to go back, but to rebuild. We talk more. Sometimes we laugh. Sometimes we cry. We never speak of Ethan. Maybe we don't have to. Because this was never really about him. It was about me waking up, breaking open, and refusing to disappear. So if you're still listening, ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly seen? Not useful, not needed, seen. And what would you risk to feel that way again?